Did you know that GTA 5 is still in the charts? It's ridiculous. It keeps selling just every single week. Rockstar make about $13.5 million off GTA Online alone. I mean, they've shipped like 80 million copies of it, so at some point, well, hopefully at some point, they're going to actually let the franchise rest. And indeed, Strauss Zelnick from Take-Two did say that GTA at some point is only going to maintain its value if they sort of lay off a little bit and actually let it take a back seat for a little bit, you know, to stop selling just ridiculous amounts of money. Now, this rest will most likely come when Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, because if you've been keeping an eye on different patterns, it looks like Rockstar are going to segue into making Red Dead Online. So that'll be the thing that actually lets GTA take a step back and lets all of us start to think about how the hell they're going to follow up on something as massive and gargantuan as GTA 5. To be honest, there's a little bit of like an identity crisis with GTA. If you think back over the series history, you think of the original 2000s GTAs and the 3D ones, and how we went from GTA 3 to Vice City and San Andreas. Those games kind of continually got more and more insane, with San Andreas going really overblown with, like, you know, Area 69 or whatever it was called, and the jetpack and all that kind of stuff. Only for GTA 4 to see Rockstar go, you know, we don't want to do this anymore. We want to do a more serious take on the franchise. We want to do something that's more grounded, something more like Michael Mann. And then all of us went, what the hell are you doing? We want something ridiculous. We wanted to continue down that thread, and that saw them go to GTA 5. To me, GTA 5 always felt like a bit of an apology, a bit of Rockstar going like, oh God, sorry, we didn't know what we were thinking. Look, here's Trevor Phillips, here's a cannibal, here's just, like, we don't care anymore. Just, it's all right. Don't calm down, it's fine. So going into GTA 6, you kind of have to ask yourself, what version of GTA are we going to get? Is it going to be the old school version or the new school version? Is it going to be a blend of the two? I don't know, but I have plenty of ideas. I'm Scott from occculture.com, and this is how Rockstar should make Grand Theft Auto 6. Number 10, establish rules for the police. Now, with police presence, Rockstar have forever been trying to get the balance right between freedom and causality, meaning you can do all sorts of crazy things, but wherever you are, even if you're under a bridge or tucked away in an alleyway, your wanted level will still go up regardless. Assumedly, this was put in the game to prevent you going postal with a knife whenever you feel like it, but it's an annoyance whenever you want to indulge your more anarchic side. Simply put, either the police need to be established in terms of vision cones and lines of sight so you know when you're about to get caught for something, or they need to back off altogether, essentially only coming after you when a crime's committed in a wide open, densely populated area, or a civilian reports your antics themselves. Ultimately, you need to know if your actions are going to cause an unwanted star. There's nothing worse than at the last minute just dinking a police car and having to suddenly lose the cops before you can actually finish the mission that you've already spent about half an hour trying to complete. Number 9, bring back the celebrity voiceovers. In the development for GTA 4, Rockstar said a very interesting thing regarding their former use of celebrity voiceovers, in that people tend to hear the actor and not the character. It's a very poignant observation, especially when actors like Samuel L. Jackson have such massive, identifiable personalities. That said, following both GTA 4 and 5 not having any notable voices whatsoever, save for Kenny Danger Zone Loggins as a DJ, it's high time we saw a return to this original way of thinking. Oftentimes, having a typecast actor get to embrace their most notable qualities only results in a more fun and memorable performance overall. And I bet if you think back to San Andreas, you can remember everyone from Axl Rose on the K-Dust radio station to chaperoning Sean Happy Days Ryder around as their hilarious macker. Celebrity cameos that double as mission givers or bit part characters are simply part of the old school GTA charm, and they're a notable miss from the last 2 installments. Number 8, lose the gimmick missions. You have to wonder just how many thousands of dollars were spent creating the dock worker tech that was used in the god-awful Trevor mission when you moved shipping containers around, or why the choice was made to pilot a slow-moving submarine across a huge expanse of ocean in GTA 5's second heist, only to get to the part that you actually wanted to play. It goes without saying that the heists themselves are actually a pretty big letdown. A base framework for a mission that was supposed to involve planning every possible entry method before executing and exfiltrating in a wide variety of ways. This comes to life in GTA Online as constant communication between players gives the process more of an edge. But when the single player's most memorable option was where to place your getaway car, it truly failed to live up to some otherwise exhilarating trailers. Add to that the bog standard drive here, experience humorous cutscene, drive back template that's been in place since GTA 3, and we desperately need to see more memorable mission structures that are way more fun to execute. Slow motion jump getaways, shootouts on top of trains, blazing car duels with gangs across massive stretches of wilderness. The more you think about it, the less standout missions there's been from GTA 4 and 5 compared to the trilogy of GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas. Number 7, multiple protagonists and playing as a cop. Remember when I mentioned establishing some rules for the police? How about we can actually switch to one of them, calling off low wanted levels or even entering into a jail to bust out one of the other characters. Now, we haven't been able to roleplay police officers with specific missions since GTA 3, though controlling both sides of the law opens up a whole new world of dynamic power plays between multiple protagonists. Outside of chasing down perps, you'd have minigames for documenting false evidence to free up side characters, or if we have more of a straight arrow, maybe interrogating other main characters, determining their role in the story. Obviously, with a game called Grand Theft Auto, there's a certain level of criminality implied, but after so many entries in the series, it would do Rockstar well to change things up and flesh out the potential repercussions in whatever location they choose. The Getaway on PS2 actually did this before, allowing the player to control either policeman Frank Carter or the man he was chasing, Frank Hammond. Now, the Getaway might not have aged very well. If you go back to it now, it's a little bit blocky and all that kind of thing. Personally, I loved it. But as something more recent like Sleeping Dogs proved, there's so much more that can be done with a story if you're showing both sides of the coin. Number 6, make women matter in the world. Perhaps a female protagonist? Can you name any female characters in the GTA series? Sure, there's Catalina, who you'll remember for all the wrong reasons, and Michael's wife, who's kind of more famous for Trevor's comment on her boobs than anything else. But besides them, for the most part, women in the GTA universe have just been there to be rescued, killed, or ridiculed in cutscenes. Now, this isn't going to turn into some feminist rant, but you have to admit that the Saints Row series has done a perfect job at representing both genders equally, albeit ridiculously, but still, whereas Rockstar frames GTA essentially as a boys' club. Putting you in the shoes of either a career criminal forever up against society's potential for underlying sexism would establish a great sense of motivation, not to mention letting the writing team flesh out the whole other side of gender to GTA's universe. Now, Rockstar did do a great job with Bonnie McFarlane in Red Dead, as she was a highly motivated, respect-commanding woman in charge of her own business, but nowhere in GTA is there anyone even close to this. Number 5, get the attitude back. There was something about those earlier GTAs back in the 2000s. Playing GTA 3 felt like you were piloting the revolution, and embodying guys like Tommy Vercetti and CJ was the perfect way to experience their respective time periods, alongside everything that they stood for. From the soundtracks to the pedestrian banter and the radio stations topping everything off, the comedic writing was unbelievably solid across the board. It helped cement the signature GTA style as a mixture of depravity, pop culture, and slapstick. However, it was then GTA 4's change in tonal direction that introduced the idea of doing another modern sequel, and with that came more up-to-date and popular songs, which are almost unanimously horrendous by comparison. Less possibilities for how you can embellish on the world itself, and an overall feeling of not having that same bite which came with the earlier games. Now, it's obviously going to be very hard when you're a multi-billion-dollar company to tap back into that quintessentially rebellious spirit which birthed the franchise in the first place, so either get some new creative directors in, or go back and rediscover the reason you started GTA in the first place. Modern society and all its extremist reactionary trimmings have plenty to be ridiculed, and when you've devoted a huge number of art assets to blowing up a fake Mark Zuckerberg, which in gameplay terms amounted to guiding Michael through a series of rooms, it's just not good enough. Number 4, lose the pointless minigames. Branching off from having mission structures purposefully designed to make you giggle for a second before realizing just how pointless they are, the inclusion of GTA's minigames has gone from, hey, that's pretty cool, to why the hell would I ever do this? See, in the infancy of the open world template, we yearned for things that would flesh out the ideology of another world on the other side of the screen. San Andreas included managing your stamina through trips to food outlets, buying clothes, working out to change your physique, and even learning different melee styles to personalize CJ. They wanted you to live in San Andreas, and we did. The very reason it's so fondly remembered is purely down to each of these features being completely original for the genre, and being executed in a way that enhanced immersion tenfold. Fast forward a few years and look to how Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Red Dead, Sleeping Dogs, etc. tackle their open worlds, and you'll notice everything that gets included as a side activity now has a defined purpose. GTA 5 had stock trading and property buying as a means to accrue wealth, but you never really needed to do it. Likewise, tennis, golf, bicycle races, and taxi fares are fun distractions, but what do they really serve? Even if it's just a little bit forced and it feels like, oh hey, you played a bunch of tennis, or you went running for a while, so now you can sprint even faster, we need something that makes all those activities feel worthwhile, because at the minute, they're kind of ultimately pointless. Number 3, completely rework melee combat and environmental interaction. Weirdly, Rockstar tends to put more work into making sure completely unnecessary things like the aforementioned minigames work than refining gameplay itself, with the most notable additions in GTA 5 being 3 very basic power-ups: slow motion, a rage mode, and enhanced quick turn driving. Going forward, we need way better traversal options and speedier vertical movement in general, but it's melee combat that needs a total overhaul. Even in GTA 5, whenever you had to take someone down with your fists, it's an incredibly clunky system of badly animated dodges, stilted walk runs, and punches that land with the impact of mashed potato. Let us interact with the world by picking up objects, dodge and counter punches with confidence, and give us the ability to throw people in any direction, letting the brilliant physics engine do the rest. We know Rockstar can deliver on fighting mechanics as they did in 2005's The Warriors, so use that as a starting point and flesh everything out from there. To be honest, if you go back to The Warriors now, it's kind of shocking how little carried over to GTA. Number 2, remember, it's your franchise. The thing with GTA 4 wasn't that it was an out-and-out bad idea on paper. In fact, a more serious take on GTA would be welcomed with open arms if it was done right. Saints Row has long been killing it on the ludicrous side of things anyway, and even they have moved on to something else entirely with Agents of Mayhem. The problem with GTA 4 was the car handling, the boring protagonist, the annoying phone calls, the proliferation of pointless minigames, and the color palette that had the whole thing awash in a sea of grey. At almost no point was it very fun to play or even look at in a conventional sense, and that could have been spectacular if all the components around it came together more strongly. People absolutely love fiction that revels in darker tones and stunning revelations like Daredevil and Breaking Bad, because even though it can feel kind of cool to go back to like, hey, we're crazy GTA again, just like you remember, at the same time, GTA 5 kind of felt like Rockstar backpedaling a little bit, moving away from the direction they wanted to take the franchise in, and just going like, we don't know, here's just crazy stuff, just take it, just here you go, just it's cool, GTA, right? Yeah, sure. And number 1, return to Vice City. I mean, look, it has to be, right? GTA 4 was the next step up for Liberty City, and GTA 5 threw a curveball by leapfrogging Vice City and delivering another version of San Andreas, so it's only natural that finally we return to the more glitzy version of Vice City for GTA 6. In terms of pure PS4 and Xbox One X testing power, Vice City needs to be a neon dreamland of cocaine clouds and bustling nightclubs, glistening sports cars pulling up on the would-be Miami Strip as your character strolls on through, pummeling synths in the background, hopefully becoming wrapped up in the sort of old-school guns and drugs story we've yearned for since, well, Vice City. Considering the immense amount of talent over at Rockstar, the assets available through hardware, and the lessons learned across the last 20 years, returning to this beloved location could only result in a massive win. So that's how I would make GTA 6. It's a lot of wish fulfillment, it's a lot of callbacks, it's a lot of them having to reassess what they think GTA is versus what the fans think it is, but whatever. You guys let me know what you think in the comments and shout out any other improvements or any other little things that I might have missed. I'm Scott from RockCulture.com, and I'll catch you guys soon.